taking a break from my regular job of editing to take a look at the movie Challengers. Hi.
Hey.
I watched it a couple weeks back, and I had some issues with some of the editing back then that I want to take a look at. First, I think I should talk about the plot of The Challengers. In Challengers, tennis prodigy Tashi Duncan, Zendaya, becomes a coach after a career-ending injury, transforming her husband Art into a champion. The story centers on a pivotal match between Art and his former doubles partner Patrick, both of whom share a complex history with Tashi. Through flashbacks during the match, their past relationships interweave with the present. The film explores themes of tennis, love, and ambition, while making notable technical choices that both enhance and distract from the overall narrative of this movie. Now let's get into some of those technical choices. So this scene takes place earlier in the film where Art is starting to come to the realization that his career may not be where it was. And in the process, he's worried that his wife is going to think less of him because he's not as good of a tennis player, but he himself doesn't want to be a tennis player anymore. So this scene here does a great job of encapsulating all of those things, but there's this one editorial choice that really bothers me here. Let's take a look. So right there is not good. The editor is not letting the move of the shot finish, and it is really jarring. It also doesn't follow the eye line, so it takes you out of the edit. So let's take another look. Hands, tilt up. Before you even barely see her, we cut off. He looks here. Again, a cut too fast. We're going to look at that one more time. But it's such a great moment that I don't understand why we're not letting these actions finish. Up. It's killing me. It's cut too fast for this emotional moment. That camera is moving. But right here is wonderful. Looking at old shots of himself, reminiscing. Hearing the ticking clock, making him think about how his own time is starting to tick away in his career. Cutting from a moving shot to a static shot can be particularly jarring. It's like if you were moving in a car and then all of a sudden you slammed on the brakes. You're of course going to have a reaction to that. Now, this is something they tell you not to do in film school, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it sometimes. This can be used to emphasize dramatic moments, tone shifts, or create tension by deliberately halting visual flow. Like anything in the edit, it should feel earned, and it has to feel natural and part of the storytelling. If not, it will take you out of it, and then it defeats the whole purpose of an editor. As a comparison, let's look at a scene that's done this well. Here is the Coen brothers' 2007 film, No Country for Old Men. The disruption of the motion to the static shot works here, since the shots are up long enough to read and are a clearly established POV shot. It also is following along with Brolin's eye line, so there is still motion that is in sync with the pan. I get that what's happening in The Challengers is also a POV shot, but the motion of the camera and his eye line aren't in sync, so it's jarring. So I would let the move finish or cut before you see her face. But the second time it happens just straight up feels like a mistake. To me, it's inexcusable. Unless this is literally the only shot of him looking outside as he's figuratively hoping to escape from his current situation in life. If so, this mistake is on production, not on the edit itself or the editor. This is a sign they did not get sufficient coverage for this scene. All right, in the edit, Wesley here. As I'm editing this piece and I'm seeing this footage more and more, I'm a little bit more graceful with that first shot. I understand the intention, but I still don't like that the eye line doesn't match the pan. So I have made another version of how I would have edited this so you can kind of see a different take, and hopefully you see why this version is smoother than the original version. Take a look. Now let's check out another scene. This one is one that killed me. In this scene, Zendaya's character has just come off an injury and she's really trying to push herself to get back to being at the level that she's accustomed to. But she's starting to come to the realization that her body is not going to let her be at the level that she wants. And this beautiful moment of being able to see her come to that realization is ruined by an editorial choice to me. Here we go. Zendaya giving us the frustration. Her acting is wonderful here. You just see it all in her face. Now we do a slow push in because you want to get closer to her emotion. This is all working so well. They're doing a great job here. But here you go. There. What is happening? Why are we making this edit? I understand that there's so many decisions that happen in the edit that are based not solely with your intentions, but with the material you have. You have to make the best decisions with the material that you have. Maybe that clip that they love the most, it just ended there. There was something wrong with the footage itself. And so to make the shot run longer, they had to make that jump cut. I don't know. I seriously kept going back and saying, is this a playback error? Is there something wrong with the stream? It was just baffling. If you feel like you know why they made this decision, like give me some excuse, because I have no excuse for why they would do it. Jump cuts create intentional discontinuity in action or time, and absolutely should be used and often are. It works great for compressing time, conveying tension, or establishing stylistic patterns. But here, none of this is happening. The use of the jump cut fails when it's used too subtly or without consistent purpose. And this edit checks all the boxes. Now let me show you an example of when it works really well. And I think we should go all the way back to the first example of it in Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless. This film is from 1960, and the cuts deliberately break continuity to compress time while maintaining the scene's energy. Also, the shots are up long enough to read, and the edits come in a rhythm of the dialogue. Let's watch.
Hélas, hélas, hélas. J'aime une fille qui a une très jolie nuque, de très jolis seins, une très jolie voix, de très jolis poignets, un très joli front, de très jolis genoux.
So good. Now let's take a look at another example from the film Honora that came out last year. I do want to do a longer piece on this film because I thought the editing on this movie was outstanding from beginning to end. But I want to highlight a moment early in the film where they use jump cuts perfectly.
Super weird. Like, he kept like weird. Yeah, like he was like Indian Jeffrey Dahmer, and he kept like rubbing my leg in a circle like that.
What is that? Is that a butterfly?
Yeah, it's a butterfly.
You're so classy.
I know.
I got dollar signs like a real hoe.
No, but you're manifesting with those.
He said I looked like his 18-year-old daughter. And then he bought 5 dances from me.
The cuts come at a good time that's not interrupting dialogue, and it's doing a great job of keeping the story moving and compressing time.
Yeah.
All right, now let's move on. So in this scene here, Art's buddy is trying to play some head games with Zendaya. Overall, the acting here is great. I just think there are some camera choices here that really threw me off. So right there, wonderful edit. The sound design going into it, you feel like you're in the hotel, and then it cuts right on the slamming of the laptop. It is a beautiful choice of editing decision. It just keeps the momentum beautiful and puts you right into the action, into the next moment. It is a great choice of editing right there. Well done.
I want you to be my coach.
What?
So right there is my first thing. I don't understand why you cut to the facial reaction and then cut to her verbal reaction from above. It's probably because they liked her initial reaction from the down low angle and then the verbal response from the eye level angle, but it's still very jarring and way too quick for these emotional moments. We'll keep going. That one did not work.
You still have a season. You still have one
Nice
good
push
season, and
ins.
I need you to bring it out.
Nice cuts here. All of this is working really well.
So,
We're intimate, we're close.
what do you think?
Dare you?
Great
Jesus
edit on the
Christ.
slap.
You want my best piece of advice for you? You want me to coach you?
Jarring.
Okay, quit.
Sets you to a
Quit
new
right
environment.
Right now, quit.
You know that when I'm good, I'm one of the best in the
You are
world.
271st best in.
I have a shot.
You're 31. You have a better shot with a handgun in your mouth.
Great line.
I mean, why don't you go home? Go home, ask your parents for a seat on the board, or you know what? Matter of fact, ask them for some money. You achieved your dream.
So
What
this is all
dreams?
working for me.
Patrick,
This is nice.
you never had any.
Is that what you and Art are doing? Living the dream?
That is exactly what you're doing.
Then how come you hate him? You do.
All right, so here, I don't understand why we're
Given
cutting
you've
to this
already
side
done,
angle.
You know he's not going to retire until you let him.
He is a grown man. He can do
Sure.
whatever he wants.
Sure, but he
It
doesn't.
takes away from the
He does whatever
emotion.
you want.
I'm assuming it's maybe a metaphor with tennis where you're sitting courtside, watching them volley back and forth, but I just hate this angle.
Lily grow up. Maybe doing some commentary on the tennis channel.
And then you're back
He's ready
here,
to be
which is a
dead.
much, not as good as the first angles,
You're starting
but
to
better
realize
than
you
that
might
side
not
angle.
wanna be buried with him, 'cause
A side angle shot can be really disorienting because we as humans connect by looking each other in the face, in the eyes. So when we have an intimate scene like this one, it's good to keep it on the face. From the side, it makes it harder to read emotions and establish a connection between viewer and subject. This can work sometimes for specific dramatic situations, but honestly, while I was researching this, I could not find a single example of this that worked well. I think they're trying to say that they are feeling disconnected at this moment. And I also think, like I said, it's maybe has to do with the feeling of the tennis sitting courtside. But to me, it didn't work and it takes you out of the emotional moment of this scene. And it's a really good scene and it's really well acted. It's just that, and then that first double cut of the reaction and then the verbal reaction. I just think that there was a lot of failures here. All right, that's all I got for you. I got to get back to work. Bye.